A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a surprising turn of events, Ukraine has postponed the exchange of prisoners of war and the acceptance of deceased soldiers' bodies for an indefinite period, according to Kremlin aide Vladimir Medinsky. This announcement comes on the heels of the second round of peace talks held in Istanbul earlier this week, where both Russia and Ukraine had initially agreed to facilitate the exchange of prisoners, focusing specifically on the youngest and most severely wounded individuals, as well as the return of the remains of 12,000 soldiers killed in the ongoing conflict. Medinsky, in a statement on Telegram, detailed that on June 6th, Russia initiated a humanitarian operation to hand over more than 6,000 bodies of killed Ukrainian servicemen. He indicated that 1,212 bodies were currently stored in refrigerated containers at the designated exchange point. Furthermore, Russia has provided Ukraine with an initial list of 640 prisoners of war, categorized as wounded, seriously ill, and young people, to commence the exchange process. Despite these preparations, Medinsky expressed frustration that Ukrainian negotiators had not arrived at the exchange location, urging Ukraine to adhere to the agreed schedule and proceed with the exchange. He emphasized that the Russian Defense Ministry's contact group was on site and fully prepared to facilitate the exchanges, inviting international media to witness the proceedings firsthand. However, Ukrainian officials responsible for the exchanges have yet to respond to requests for comments. The last prisoner swap between the two nations occurred in May, and tensions have since escalated, with Russia accusing Ukraine of postponing the scheduled exchanges. Ukraine has vehemently denied these claims, asserting that Russia acted unilaterally by transporting the remains to the exchange point without an agreed-upon date. During the Istanbul peace talks, both parties had indeed reached an agreement to exchange prisoners and return the bodies of the fallen soldiers, with each side expected to hand over 6,000 sets of remains. Medinsky reiterated Russia's commitment to the Istanbul agreements, stating that they were prepared to proceed with the humanitarian operation. However, Ukrainian security official Andriy Kovalenko dismissed Russia's assertions as untrue, accusing them of engaging in dirty mind games and failing to adhere to previous agreements regarding the exchange of prisoners and the repatriation of bodies. Kovalenko confirmed that while an agreement had been reached concerning the repatriation of bodies, no specific date had been established for the exchanges. He criticized Russia for resorting to unilateral actions that contradicted the agreed-upon framework. Additionally, a statement from Ukraine's state-run coordination headquarters for the treatment of prisoners of war indicated that Ukraine had also submitted a list of 640 prisoners of war slated for release in the first swap. However, they noted that Russia's list did not align with the agreed-upon priorities for the exchange. The recent peace talks in Istanbul marked only the second round of negotiations since March 2022, with delegations from both nations meeting for approximately 1 hour. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan characterized the discussions as great, expressing hope that future meetings would involve the leaders of Russia, Ukraine, and the United States. Despite the agreement on prisoner exchanges, no consensus was reached regarding a ceasefire, a critical issue that Ukraine, its European allies, and the United States have urged Russia to accept. The Kremlin has described the process of achieving a settlement to end the war in Ukraine as extraordinarily complex, cautioning against expectations of immediate decisions. Kyiv has suggested that President Putin is not genuinely interested in peace, while President Zelensky has proposed a ceasefire until a meeting can be arranged with President Putin. Zelensky stated, "My proposal, which I believe our partners can support, is that we agree on a ceasefire with the Russians until the leaders meet. At this time, people will understand that the nations, Europe, Ukraine, and the whole world have a chance to end the war." As the situation remains fluid, the international community watches closely, hoping for a resolution that could bring an end to the ongoing conflict and facilitate the return of those who have been lost in the turmoil. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.